Here we are, Friday, right before the long weekend. Are you feeling amazing? We're into August. The weather is beautiful. Now, there may be some other things going on that aren't really as beautiful. Of course, the forest fire situation. But, we can spend our time worrying about a lot of things that don't affect us. We can spend our time worrying about our friends or family. But here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be selfish here. We can also wish everyone the best, because there's very little we can do to change certain situations, but we can change. What we can change is our attitude. And I want to share some things about changing attitude that maybe will help you. Okay? Now, I talk about this stuff all the time, and maybe you get bored of hearing it, but I'll tell you what. I managed to sit down yesterday and talk with a good friend of mine, Paul Wesley, and the Bobcat. And we were talking about just directions in sales and life and things like that, and it was just an amazing conversation because it's as enlightening for me. I think it was as enlightening for me as it was for him. And one of the things I thought was really coincidental was the fact that in the last week, my attitude has changed a lot. I've had a chance to sort of, in some respects, see things a little bit differently and do things a little bit differently. I started getting back into meditation. I started getting back into doing what I love to do. And here's the fun thing about it. Now, sometimes we look at this and we go, maybe we think we're doing the right thing and we're not. Maybe we think that, we're on the right track for change and we're not. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, maybe it's you can do the same thing over and over again, but maybe your attitude has to be different. You have to bring something different to the table. Now, there are a lot of great people out there, and let's speak generally. Maybe if you're sort of a sales guy, and in some respects, all of us that are self-employed or we work in different industries, we are sales people of some kind. Maybe the one thing that we do differently, even though we love sales, right? Sales, one of the number one things in the world, number one jobs in the world. Maybe it's our attitude that we need to bring forward. How many times have you walked into a place, whether it's a grocery store, electronic shop, a dealership, what have you, and it feels like it's high pressure, or you feel like you're part of the family? Now, the difference in there lies in the salesperson and the general aura of that facility. What if you walked into a place and you felt like you were family, and you felt like the people that were there were really there to help you? They were really there just to embrace you and just say, hey, we're so glad you're here. And the first feeling you get is a feeling of appreciation. Oh, well, hey, thanks. We're so glad you're here. And, we've got a lot of great things going on. What's going on with you? What brings you in today? How can we help you? Well, I'm just looking for this, or I'm curious about this. Oh, fantastic. And in all of this, it's more of a welcoming spirit. The attitude changes versus the tough sell where it's like, hey, how's it going today? We have this, this, and this for you today. We want to sell you this. And you're like, well, you know what? I want to look. I want to take some time. And just you guys step back and leave me alone. So your attitude can change things in a huge way. And I think that's one thing that I found this week is my attitude towards certain things has changed a lot. And when I say my attitude has changed a lot, what I'm saying is I got back into doing a morning meditation. Now, I always do a morning meditation of some kind, but I did a very different morning meditation this week. I did what's called a 6-phase guided meditation. It originally comes from a gentleman by the name of Vishen Lakhiani of the Mind Valley Group. Vishen Lakhiani is one of my inspirations. Okay, and I'll be sure to tag him in this post. When it comes to things like a 6-phase guided meditation, the 6 phases are connection, gratitude, so feeling really grateful for all the opportunities. I come here to the Jess FM and Jess TV studios 4 days a week, Tuesdays through Fridays from about 8 till 10. And, I'm grateful to Jesse for putting this together and for giving me the opportunity to come and to speak. I love doing this. I love this connection that we have. And whether it's 1,000 people watching or 2 people watching, it doesn't matter to me. There's connection there and there's a significance. So that's the first one, having that connection and having that gratitude. So Jesse, as you're watching this morning, hey, I really appreciate this. I appreciate my guests who come on the show. I appreciate my family, my friends. I appreciate the people I have special connections with. I appreciate the people that are opening doors and giving me opportunities to move forward and do some incredible things. I appreciate that. I am so grateful for, and that's the next phase, gratitude. The phase after that, phase 3, we talked about this yesterday too, but I'll go over it again just so you can see the application of it, is releasing negative charges. How often do we go forward in the day and we carry a lot of resentment with us? There's never a shortage of people who have harmed us in our lives or wronged us in our lives, and we can hang on to that, we can carry that forward, and we can let it wreck our lives. I once came across a young woman who, and this is early in my career as a hypnotherapist. She had known me back in the 90s, and I was a radio personality back then, and I used to do my shift, and then I used to go out to one of the local clubs, and I used to dance. I would love to dance, and one particular night the dance floor was empty, and she was there with her friends. I said, hey, let's get up there and dance, and I grabbed her and dragged her out on the floor, and she said, no, I don't really do this. I said, oh, come on, you don't have to worry about anything. She said, well, people will be watching, so let them watch. Now, back in the day, and you might say this about me now, but back in the day I was very, very egocentric, narcissistic, and I really didn't care too much about people. I was trying to share a message, but the message really was very self-serving. And so, I hurt that person's feeling. Then years later, probably 15 years later, I had the chance to work with that person as a therapist. Something was off during the session. I didn't get it. I found out later, because she had been referred to me through another therapist, I found out later that this whole thing had happened 15 years ago. She still hung on to it 15 years later. So 15 years later, she's still hanging on to it, and guess what? It ruined her therapy. She still had to pay for the session, right? But she couldn't get past that. I know we're creatures of habit. We are living our life in the past. And if we're living our life in the past, we are not moving forward. I can tell you what, I've done a lot of living my life in the past. I know, our subconscious mind is a storehouse of all of our experiences. And so, how else can we live life but based on the experiences of the past? Because it shows us what to do and what not to do. And based on what we've seen and based on what we've learned, then we move forward and we make changes from there. So, now I look forward and I say, you know what? I've been that way. I've been sad. I've been feeling like I'm left out. I've been this, I've been that. In doing the meditation, I found a change taking place. And I told you I was listening to a gentleman by the name of Earl Nightingale, and he was part of that change. And of course, the very good people that I hang around with these days, also very, very much part of that. And of course, my family, my kids, very much a part of that. Interesting thing. In going to the next phase, phase 4 if you're counting, we're creating a 3-year goal. And I'm a very goal-orientated person, or so I thought. And I realized that I hadn't really set a clear goal. Now I'm changing that. I have a clear goal. I have it set out in front of me, and I realized one of the things that when I talk about achieving a goal, I set a lot of short-term goals, and I think I'm setting some long-term goals, but then I realized I hadn't really put it out there. Hadn't really put it out there for the universe to really grab onto. I've been sending a lot of mixed messages. So in that 3-year goal, how am I working towards it if I don't even know what it is? How are you working towards it if you don't know what it is? You know what you got to do? You got to write it down. Earl Nightingale said, if you've got a goal you want to achieve in the next little while, By the way, he's got a phenomenal voice. If you've got a goal you want to achieve in the next little while, be specific with it. Write it down. And then let it consume you every day in the most positive way. And by the way, don't worry or stress about it. Just act as if it's a reality. So I talked about the 40 shows that I want from a couple of weeks ago to December. Well, you know what? I'm well on my way. I'm well on my way to adding another 5 events to that 40, which was 40 originally, then it was 35, now it's 30. So if I look at it and I'm adding 5 events in a week, that means in 8 weeks I'll have filled things up. But you know what? I'm not waiting that long. I'm being very aggressive with it. I'm pushing forward with it. And we're talking about, by the way, we're talking about my hypnosis shows, my J.R. Matthew hypnosis shows. And I'm being very aggressive with my pricing. And I've set a timeline because I want to get the bulk of it done so that I can basically have more information to share, more clips to share, and more people connecting with my websites, my Instagram, things like that. So my push is I'm doing whatever I can to get these great shows between now and September 30th. Now, after September 30th, what do we have? We have the Thanksgiving weekend, then we have the lead up to Halloween, then we're into the Christmas season. We're also into the school season, the post-secondary season. Lots of celebrations going on, annual festivals, fundraisers, speaking events, all leading up to Christmas. And then beyond Christmas, there's all the fun of the New Year's parties. Going into the new year, there's fitness, motivation, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff. Sorry, a little bit of hiccups. So, there's me working towards it. So in my 3-year goal, which has become very specific, what I want, how I want to see it. Now, moving forward from that, you create your day. That's phase 5. How do you create your day? What do you look for? What do you do? Well, we have this interesting thing with our minds. It's called the reticular activation system. And what it does is when we are moving forward and having some fun with the reticular activation system, when we create our day, we take a moment to sit down, and actually I haven't even gotten out of bed yet and I'm doing this meditation, right? This is the best way to do it, in my opinion. I'm looking at, okay, here I am in the morning, and I usually start this process right around 6 o'clock or whatever. I'll listen to a couple of different tracks and follow along with some friends on Facebook, and then get moving forward with the meditation. I will then see my day. Maybe I'm going to make some coffee. I'm back in ketosis again, so I can have a fat bomb for breakfast, or I can just continue on with a fast. So last food I had was probably about, I think, 9 o'clock last night. So if I have something at noon today, after, doing this morning, seeing some clients, and maybe I'll do some running, whatever, that's going to give me a 15-hour fast. So great. One of the reasons why I'm feeling better too is because I've gotten back into ketosis. And I tell you what, absolutely fantastic. It works really well for me. If you're curious about it, make sure you connect with me. Now, that said, I'm creating my day. So now I've seen myself making coffee. I've seen myself driving to the studios. What I'm going to talk about this morning. By the way, sometimes what I say I'm going to talk about, sometimes that changes. And that's okay. We're moving forward. The music that I play, the things that I talk about, everything can change, but it's all a common direction forward. Then seeing how I'm going to deal with, say, the people I have to talk to this morning, and then moving forward this afternoon, what am I going to do? I'm going to connect with more people. I've got a goal to create maybe 5 bookings today. Now, will I make that 5 bookings? I'm throwing it out there to the universe. I can see it in my mind, and if I can see it in my mind, the people I'm talking to, I can make it my reality. And in getting those next 5 bookings, that gives me maybe 8 bookings for this week. Well, it does give me 8 bookings for this week. Well, that's a fantastic start. Would I love to do 8 bookings this week and continue on with that tomorrow? You know what? I've got Saturday night open. It's a long weekend. If you can use some entertainment, a speaker, I'll throw it out there right now. I would love to be that guy for you. Make sure you connect with me on Facebook, on the feed here. Make sure you comment, and let's find out. Like I said, I'm all about getting out, connecting, and entertaining, and just having a great time with people. Not at people's expense, but at a great time with people. For more information on that, jrmatthew.com. And you can see there's a little bit of a change in the focus here. It's jrmatthew.com. That is the website I'm sending everyone to now. Now, that said, moving forward, creating my day, I see my afternoon flowing forward. Now, I have a thing in my mind. Today is my day to do 6 sets of stairs. Sometime later this afternoon, depending on how hot it gets, 6 sets of stairs. And I'm going to see how well things are going to work out for me now being in ketosis. 6 sets of stairs, and I want to have them done by 6 o'clock. I'm going to be working on some more connection with people. It is the long weekend. I know that people are going to be busy, but you know what? I'm focused. I want to make that 40 happen. And then tomorrow during the day, I'm going to be sending out those messages and setting things up for next week. I've got some gardening to do, things like that, and hopefully I can connect with people. Sometime around noon tomorrow, I want to hit the stairs again, but this time just for a nice casual walk. So tomorrow around noon, hitting the stairs and walking from the parking lot at the top of Whoop Up Drive and University Drive, and then making the big loop. It's about 5 kilometers, and it involves basically walking in back of Ridgewood, down the stairs, across the valley, up by where the bridge is, up behind Heritage Heights, back past Coachwood Point, past Ridgewood, and then back to the parking lot. You want to join me? Let's meet there at noon. Okay? Getting back to the task at hand now. Okay? Creating your day. This is one of the most positive things because now we're moving forward and we're doing things. And all these things that I'm doing, I'm working towards that 3-year goal. So in phase number 6, I'm going to say, hey, I can be thankful for whoever, for making this possible. I can be thankful to, my higher self for gaining the focus necessary to make this happen. I can be thankful to, a God, a spirit, an angel, whatever you believe. That's who you're thankful for, right? You can pray to that. You can give thanks to that. And thanks, by the way, it's different from the gratitude. I am grateful for all the things happening, and I'm so thankful for the guidance that is going to make this 3-year goal. And we're not going to split hairs on it. That's just the way it goes right now, right? So I'm saying thanks. You can be grateful for things, right? It's a feeling you have inside. Saying thanks is putting it out there like that. Anyway, so here we are now. We've done the 6th phase. We talked about change. How does that change us when we're in our attitude and moving forward? Well, when you think about it, if you have an attitude of gratitude, there's a change right there. When you create your day and when you have a 3-year plan and you're working towards it, it fundamentally changes your confidence in yourself. What? Wait a minute. I'm changing my confidence in myself? Yes. That's the way our minds work. When we meditate on it, when we see it, it brings it all back to us. And it was funny because yesterday in the afternoon, I had kind of a moment of self-doubt, some conjecture going on in my mind. I thought, stop it. You've got this. Take a moment, meditate, create it. I was looking for some certain documents that would help make some other things happen. And I managed to find them. And it made things better. And I managed to connect with some people and share in some insights. And it made things better. It's not a perfect process, but I tell you what, anytime that you can do something for yourself to make a difference in your life, you can do something for yourself to make a difference in your life, how you feel, how confident you feel, how good you feel about yourself. That's an amazing thing. That is you taking control of your life. That is you being able to say, I am great. I am my own creator in my life. I am responsible. I am in charge. I am great. I am amazing. All these wonderful affirmations. I am getting better and better each and every day. I am. Now the question is, and I throw it back to you, are you getting better and better each and every day? I hope you are. I hope life is amazing. And I hope that as you sit down and you listen to this, and one thing I want to do this weekend too is I want to break apart some of the presentations I've had this week and put them in shorter clips. And my thanks to my friends who inspire me to really say, hey, if you want to make improvements on your Facebook page, do this. You know what? That's a great idea. Absolutely a great idea. So I'm going to make these clips a little bit shorter so that, you know what, as I share them around, you can watch them and you can get the most out of it. So that's my plan. I'm moving it forward, sharing, inspiring, and sharing my insight. And you know what, as I go up, I want to bring people with me. You know, I consider myself very fortunate. One of the things I'm most grateful for is the way I think. I've always been a very dynamic thinker, not necessarily a very focused thinker, but a very dynamic thinker. So I do things in my life that help me to become more focused. I write things down. I keep them right in front of me. I modify my diet. I do things like that. I educate myself on what I need to do and how I need to do it so that I can be the best that I can be. Now, that said, moving forward, if there's something in there for you, or if you've got curiosity about it, if you're interested in it, or if you're interested in having me come and speak to your group, your organization about it, I welcome the opportunity. Remember, you can always connect with me online, jrmatthew.com. Okay, so people say, hey, James, where does the J.R. Matthew come from? It is my stage name, and it's short for James Robert Matthew Castelli, J.R. Matthew. Okay, I'm becoming more focused. I've eliminated some of the distractions. I've eliminated some of the fuzzy directions so that everything can be more focused on this one thing. Doing the shows, getting to 40, and then building beyond that. For next year, 100 shows. And as I set my mind in motion to achieve that, I must achieve it because I realize that the only person standing in the way of that is myself. The only person standing in the way of me achieving my goal is myself. Now, there may be stumbles along the way, but as long as I hang on to that goal, and as long as I make and take the steps to adjust and keep moving forward, you know what? Super amazing things will happen. Remember, you don't define the pathway. I talk about getting 40 shows, and I'm doing the action that is necessary to get them, and I don't know where they'll come from. I might call here, I might call there, I might do cold calls, I might connect with old friends, and yet I don't know where that'll come from. Somewhere along the line, somebody might say, hey, you know, we're doing a speaking series, why don't you come and do that? We're having a conference next year, why don't you come and do that? All right, I'm open to all of those things. So it becomes very, very positive. And all of a sudden, maybe somebody wants me to come and do a show at a town celebration just outside Lethbridge. Hoping to confirm that today, too. Keep thinking about that. Don't say, I must do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Here's the goal, and here's working towards the goal. And yes, you must have an action plan. You must be taking actionable steps forward. But at the same time, don't say, I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this. Because then all of a sudden you limit things and you're removing the chance of something really awesome and amazing happening. So keep that in mind. Moving forward this Friday, it is a day of infinite potential. What will you do for yourself to move forward? As a recommendation, get back to meditation. Get back to effective meditation where you're focused. I love that 6-phase guided meditation. Each one of those phases, they're all somebody else's key to success. When we know we're all connected, how does that change how you are? Connection. When we're in that attitude of gratitude, being grateful for all the wonderful things and blessings that we have over the last 24 to 48 hours, there's another thing. Releasing negative charges. We cannot move forward if we're living in the past. Having a 3-year plan, working towards that goal. Creating your day. What do you want your day to look like? Changing your perception of yourself and the world so it can be the best it can be. And then, of course, giving thanks. Thank you for helping me make it happen. And thank you for joining in, listening, and hopefully becoming inspired and motivated to go to that next step. And by the way, as we connect, remember, we are stronger as a community than as a bunch of individuals going around trying to make things happen. Yes, we make things happen by ourselves. We drive that ghost in the machine. Our subconscious mind is that ghost in the machine, and we drive it. However, we don't know everything. We can't do everything ourselves. We have to rely on a mastermind group, a group of experts, our friends, and the people that inspire us. And that's what helps us move forward. And that's what helps to make things great. So connect. That's what community is all about. It is amazing. It is absolutely fantastic. And of course, it is kind of how things should really be. And I want you to keep this in mind too. 7 billion people in the world. There's nobody quite like you. That is cause for celebration. And all the universe wants is for you to be your best self. So by all means, be your best self and stay inspired. Believe in yourself and you will achieve. We'll chat soon. Remember, jrmatthew.com. That's the place to go. Connect with me. I welcome your comments. Have an amazing day. Happy Friday.